The music industry just declared war on its own fans, and if you think your vote actually counts in 2026, you are sadly mistaken. On Thursday, January 8th, at exactly 8 a.m. Eastern Time, the iHeartRadio Music Awards dropped their official nominations list, and the numbers are not just suspicious, they are a mathematical impossibility. While Taylor Swift is leading the pack with 9 nominations, as expected, there is a name right behind her with 8 nods that has the entire internet screaming industry plant. If you look at the official nominee breakdown on the iHeart website right now, you will see Alex Warren tied with heavyweights like Bad Bunny and Sabrina Carpenter for the most nominations of the night. This is the same Alex Warren who was a founding member of the TikTok Hype House and was accused of copying David Dobrik just a few years ago. Now, suddenly, the industry wants us to believe he is on the same level as the woman who just broke every touring record in human history? This is not just about one artist or one award show. This is about a systemic shift in how fame is manufactured in 2026, and the receipts we are seeing today suggest that the fan-voted categories are nothing more than a psychological experiment to keep you engaged while the labels pick the winners behind closed doors. We are going to look at the hidden contracts, the producer right clauses, and the actual financial reason why iHeartRadio needs a TikTok star to win more than they need Taylor Swift to show up. Let's start with the most shocking evidence of the rigged system, which is the Alex Warren phenomenon. Just 48 hours ago, on January 6th, Alex Warren sat down with CBS Mornings for a Road to the Grammy segment. In that interview, he admitted that he was never a good singer and that his own choir teachers didn't believe in him. He framed himself as the underdog, the chubby white kid who didn't fit the Justin Bieber mold. But look at the timeline. He goes from being a creator known for skateboarding and YouTube vlogs to winning Best New Artist at the 2025 VMAs, and now he's sitting on 8 iHeart nominations. Swifties on Reddit and X have already started digging into the numbers. They're pointing out that while Taylor Swift has billions of streams on her latest album, The Life of a Showgirl, which dropped in October 2025, Alex Warren's presence on traditional radio does not match his nomination count. iHeartRadio awards are supposedly based on what is played on their stations and their app, yet if you check the spins data for the last 12 months, Taylor Swift and Morgan Wallen dominated the airwaves, while Alex Warren's tracks like Ordinary have a massive discrepancy between their TikTok usage and their actual radio rotation. This brings us to the first major revelation of this scandal, which is how the voting actually works. If you scroll to the very bottom of the iHeartRadio voting rules page in the fine print, there is a clause that has existed for years but is being exploited now more than ever. It states that the producers reserve the right to select the winner based on a variety of factors, including but not limited to chart performance and social media engagement. This means that even if a fan base like the Swifties or the Bee Army spends 24 hours a day clicking a vote button, the producers can simply pivot to the artist who fits their demographic goals for the year. And right now, the goal is to prove that TikTok stars can transition into legitimate legacy artists, because that is where the cheap labor is. Think about the overhead cost of a Taylor Swift. She owns her masters, she has a massive team, she demands total creative control, and she doesn't even have to show up to your award show for it to be a success. In March 2025, Taylor skipped the iHeart Awards in person despite winning 6 trophies and being honored with the Tour of the Century Award. She sent a pre-recorded video from a casual setting with a navy tank top and gold jewelry. The industry hates this. They want stars who are hungry for the spotlight and who will sign away their publishing rights for a chance at a trophy. Alex Warren represents the new guard of the music business, where the labels take a social media influencer with a pre-built audience and plug them into the old-school radio machine. But why the boycott now? The breaking point for fans happened in May 2025 during the American Music Awards. During that broadcast, viewers noticed something chilling. When Taylor Swift's name was announced in her nomination reels, the audio of the crowd cheering was noticeably muted compared to other artists. Reddit threads in the Taylor Swift community were flooded with clips showing the disparity. One user pointed out that the audience was clearly screaming for Taylor, but the television mix made it sound like a golf tournament. This was allegedly done because the producers knew Taylor Taylor wasn't going to win the big categories that night, despite the fan voting trends. They didn't want her dominance to look disproportionate on camera because they had already decided to give those awards to artists who were actually in the building. The 2026 iHeart nominations feel like a repeat of that same script. Taylor leads with 9 nominations, which keeps the Swifties engaged in clicking on the website, which drives ad revenue for iHeartMedia. But by placing Alex Warren right behind her with 8 nominations, the industry is setting the stage for a passing of the torch moment that feels entirely manufactured. We are seeing a pattern where the legacy artists are used as bait to get the views, while the new TikTok plants are given the actual hardware to validate their transition into the mainstream. We also have to look at the financial motives behind this. iHeartMedia has been navigating massive debt and a changing media landscape for years. In 2026, their survival depends on being the middleman between social media and traditional fame. If they can show advertisers that an artist can go from a TikTok Hype House member to an 8-time iHeart nominee purely through their platform, they can charge more for ad spots. Taylor Swift doesn't need iHeart. She has Taylor Nation, she has a direct line to her fans, and she has enough money to buy the building they're standing in. Alex Warren, however, is part of the system. He represents the synergy between Warner Music Group and the radio conglomerates. There's also the Taylor factor to consider. Why hasn't she said anything? In October 2025, Taylor did an interview with Zane Lowe on Apple Music to promote The Life of a Showgirl. She famously said that she welcomes the chaos. She told Zane that if people are saying her name or her album title during release week, they are helping her. Taylor knows the game. She knows that being snubbed or being part of a rigged narrative actually fuels her legend. It makes her the outlaw of the industry. Her album, The Life of a Showgirl, was technically ineligible for the 2026 Grammys because it dropped in October, which was past the August 30th deadline. This left a massive power vacuum in the award season that the industry is trying to fill with Alex Warren and Sabrina Carpenter. The strategy for iHeart is clear. They are using Taylor Swift's name to give the 2026 awards legitimacy, while they simultaneously prepare to crown the next generation of TikTok stars. This is why the fans are calling for a total boycott. They are tired of being the fuel for a machine that ignores their actual input. On platforms like TikTok and X, the hashtag #IHeartRigged began trending within hours of the nomination announcement. Fans are sharing screenshots of their voting limits being reached instantly, or their votes not being counted. The industry war between traditional talent and TikTok plants is reaching a fever pitch. According to reports from insider music blogs in early 2026, the major labels have pivoted 70% of their marketing budgets away from artist development and toward influencer acquisition. It's cheaper to find someone who already has 10 million followers and teach them how to sing a chorus than it is to find a songwriter in a garage and build them from scratch. Alex Warren is the poster child of this pivot. His narrative of being the choir kid who finally made it is a perfect PR spin for a story that is actually about data points and algorithmic trends. If we look at the timeline of Alex's rise, it's almost too perfect. He was a co-founder of the Hype House in 2019. He survived the David Dobrik copying scandal by pivoting to music. He released Bloodline and Ordinary, which were designed specifically to go viral in the background of 15-second clips. By 2025, he was winning VMAs, and by early 2026, he is tied with Taylor Swift for the most nominations at a major award show. This doesn't happen by accident. This is the result of a concerted effort by the industry to bridge the gap between social media and the Grammys. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift is playing a much longer game. Her 2026 schedule is rumored to include a 6-part docuseries and a pivot to more intimate live performances. She is moving away from the stadium spectacle and toward a legacy that doesn't rely on being the most played artist on the radio. But the fans aren't ready to let go of the competition. They see the iHeart nominations as a personal insult to the work Taylor has put in over the last 2 decades. The hidden motive here is also about the data. When you vote for these awards, you are giving iHeartMedia your email, your location, and your listening preferences. In 2026, that data is worth more than the gold on the trophy. They are using the competitive nature of the Swifties to harvest millions of data points, which they then use to sell targeted advertising. It's a brilliant business model, but it's built on a lie. The lie is that your participation matters for the outcome. Look at the 2025 American Music Awards again. When Billie Eilish swept the awards over Taylor Swift and Beyoncé, the fans were confused because the social media engagement for Taylor was 10 times higher. The explanation given by industry insiders was that Billie's team had a better relationship with the producers of the show. This is the same reason why Alex Warren is currently the favorite to sweep the 2026 iHeart nominations. He's compliant, he's available for every interview, and his team is willing to play the game that the radio giants demand. The boycott movement is gaining momentum because it's the only way fans can reclaim their power. By refusing to vote and refusing to watch the broadcast on March 26th, they are telling the industry that they see through the plant narrative. They are tired of the rigged system and the manufactured stars. The 2026 iHeartRadio Music Awards were supposed to be a celebration of the biggest year in music history, but instead, they have become the epicenter of a civil war. If you want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes, you have to look at the relationship between the major labels and the streaming algorithms. In early 2026, a report from Media RES Research suggested that the line between a viral hit and a label plant has completely disappeared. Everything is curated, everything is paid for, and nothing is organic. The Taylor Swift versus Alex Warren battle is just the most visible version of this war. It's the old guard versus the new algorithm, and right now, the algorithm is winning. As we head toward the ceremony in March, the tension is only going to increase. Will Taylor Swift show up to claim her trophies, or will she continue her streak of remote appearances and let the TikTok stars have their moment in the sun? One thing is certain, the music industry is at a crossroads. They can either listen to the fans who have built their empires, or they can continue to push the plant and risk a total collapse of the award show ecosystem. The Swifties have already made their choice. They are logging off. They are stopping the votes, and they are exposing the receipts. The hidden money motives, the PR spins, and the rigged voting systems are all coming to light. This isn't just about a trophy, it is about the soul of the music industry in 2026. If a TikTok star can be manufactured into a legend overnight, then what does that mean for the artists who have spent their lives honing their craft? The answer is waiting in the fine print of a voting contract and the silence of a muted crowd. If you want to see the full pattern of how the industry has been rigging these awards for the last decade, you need to check out our Fresh Celebrity Tea playlist, where we break down every snub and every plant from 2015 to now. The system is rigged, but now you have the receipts to prove it.